Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Gaurav Sharma and with me is Nabanita Adhikari bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson review comprehensive strategic partnership during bilateral talks in New Delhi. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cybersecurity and space figure in discussion. India and the United Kingdom decide to push for conclusion of free trade agreement by the end of this year. Agartala-Akhaura's rail link between India and Bangladesh set to be completed by December this year. Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra urges members of the NRI community to register as overseas voters. World Earth Day being observed today, Prime Minister says the day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. And in Asian Wrestling Championships, Indian women grapplers Anshu Malik and Radhika secure silver while Manisha settles for bronze. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his UK counterpart Boris Johnson reviewed the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries during their bilateral talks in New Delhi on Friday. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cybersecurity and space also figured in the discussion between the two leaders. Addressing a joint press briefing following the bilateral talks, Prime Minister Modi said that India and the United Kingdom have decided to do their best to conclude the Free Trade Agreement FTA by the end of this year.
आज की हमारी बातचीत में आगामी समय के लिए कुछ लक्ष्य भी तय किए। फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट के विषय पर दोनों देशों की टीम्स काम कर रही है। बातचीत में अच्छी प्रगति हो रही है और हमने इस साल के अंत तक एफटीए के समापन की दिशा में पूरा प्रयास करने का निर्णय लिया है। हमने रक्षा क्षेत्र में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति व्यक्त की है। रक्षा क्षेत्र में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी, डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट सभी क्षेत्रों में यूके द्वारा आत्मनिर्भर भारत के समर्थन का हम स्वागत करते हैं.
Mr. Modi said that the countries have decided to deepen climate and energy partnership and invited the UK to join India's national hydrogen mission. Both the leaders also discussed the developments taking place at the regional and global level. Prime Minister Modi said that they emphasized on maintaining the Indo-Pacific region based on a free, open, inclusive and rules-based order.
हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर हो रहे अनेक डेवलपमेंट्स पर भी चर्चा की. एक फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव एंड रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर पर आधारित इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र बनाए रखने पर हमने जोर दिया. इंडो पैसिफिक ओशन इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ने के यूके के निर्णय का भारत स्वागत करता है.
In his statement, the visiting Prime Minister Johnson said that the partnership between India and Britain is one of the defining friendships of all the times. He pointed out that since last year, the threats of autocratic coercion have grown even further and it is vital to deepen cooperation, including shared interest in keeping the Indo-Pacific open and free.
Britain is one of the oldest, and India, certainly the largest democracy, is one of the defining friendships of our times. And what we're doing is taking forward an ambitious 10-year roadmap for British-Indian relations that we agreed last year. And it's vital that we deepen our cooperation, including our shared interest in keeping the Indo-Pacific open and free. So today, we've agreed a new and expanded defence and security partnership, a decades-long commitment that will not only forge tighter bonds between us, but support your goal of Make in India.
Two agreements were also exchanged following the bilateral talks. Briefing the media on Friday evening after the talks, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said that defence and security cooperation was another key focus area for the visit. He said that both the leaders held detailed discussion on opportunities for defence collaborations, particularly co-development and co-production of advanced defence technologies. On cybersecurity, both the leaders agreed to enhance the India-UK cybersecurity partnership with a focus on cyber governance, safeguarding national infrastructure and building cyber deterrence.
Discussed ongoing health collaboration, building on the successful partnership of the Covishield vaccine. Science and technology partnership, higher education, migration, mobility were other areas that figured in the discussions. The talks provided an opportunity to exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest, including cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. India welcomed the UK joining the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative under the Maritime Security Pillar and agreed to cooperate closely in this region towards their shared commitment for maintaining an open, free and secure Indo-Pacific region.
Mr. Johnson arrived in India on a 2-day visit on Thursday. He was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan this morning. The British Prime Minister also visited Rajghat and laid a wreath at the Samadhi of Mahatma Gandhi. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, called on the visiting dignitary.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a discussion on India-UK ties. In conversation are Bhashwati Mukherjee, former diplomat, Sanjay Jha, journalist.
India and UK are bound by strong ties of history and culture. India's multifaceted bilateral relationship with the UK has only intensified over the period of time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson today pushed for closing the negotiations for a free trade agreement by the end of the year and also agreed on a new and expanded bilateral defense and security partnership. Prime Minister Johnson is visiting India on his long pending trip that was delayed due to the pandemic last year. India-UK ties a beacon in the stormy seas, says British Prime Minister Johnson. Many people say that Boris Johnson is an Indophile, but is he the man to reboot India-UK relations? Ambassador Mukherjee, what are your thoughts about his visit to India?
I think that Prime Minister Boris Johnson's visit to India is historic for many reasons, one of which is that it demonstrates that the UK-India partnership has come of age. Why do I say it? If you look at the body language of the two Prime Ministers, if you look at the way Prime Minister Boris Johnson spoke about how it is possible to be British and Indian. So he gave the example of the Land Rover, which is British and Indian. Then he went to a factory in Gujarat, which he said is British and Indian. And then he said that all this demonstrates that UK and India have a win-win partnership, particularly on business and economic matters, but also a very important strategic partnership. I would agree with that assessment. And I would also say that post-Brexit, the United Kingdom realizes that it needs partners and allies more than ever before, particularly economic partners, because its economy, like most big economies, took a beating after the pandemic and also post-Brexit. And therefore, when he came to India, he first went to Gujarat. He met the Indian business with whom he has great interest. And don't forget that there are very important Indian business diaspora in UK, which have also helped the United Kingdom to overcome the difficult economic situation post-Brexit. So all in all, to answer your question, I think it is one of the most significant visits of a British Prime Minister, and the kind of response that he got from our Prime Minister, the kind of ceremonial welcome that we gave him in the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan, the way in which he responded at the joint press conference between the two demonstrates that yes, he is not only an Indophile, he understands India, he loves India, and he has an excellent rapport with Prime Minister Modi. So this bodes very well for the India-UK partnership.
As you rightly said that Mr. Johnson enjoys a special rapport with the Indian Prime Minister. Boris Johnson has actually held Prime Minister Modi as firecracker and an absolute political phenomenon who enjoys a personal rapport with him. The relationship between Modi and Johnson matters a lot between the relationship of two countries, as do the government visions and objectives. In the case of UK and India, both the countries are well aligned. The two prime ministers last time met during the United Nations Climate Change Conference in November 2021. And, when introducing Prime Minister Modi to the audience, Johnson described him as understanding the potential of renewable energy better than anyone and sharing our agenda. So the Prime Minister that time had jointly announced 3 initiatives that will see the two countries partner across projects of renewable energy creates sustainable finance and disaster relief. Do you think this visit has brought momentum to those agenda of the climate change?
Yes, indeed, because Prime Minister Johnson has accepted the invitation earlier to join the International Solar Summit, which is the Prime Minister Modi's initiative. He later on was invited to join what we are doing for renewable energy, development of hydrogen, etc. And in every way, as far as climate change is concerned, India and UK are on the same page. So I would say that climate change and how to combat climate change is an area on which India would greatly benefit from British technology and transfer of technology and aid and FDI flows. And Britain would benefit from the manner in which we have harnessed solar energy. We have gone very far ahead, in fact, in some parts of renewable energy. So here again is a partnership that can be very well developed in the years to come.
Absolutely. India, the biggest, and the UK, one of the oldest global democracies, have good diplomatic relations on the world front. And we also have seen India-UK relationship getting it elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership during the India-UK virtual summit, which was held between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Johnson May last year. And at the summit, both countries adopted a 10-year roadmap to expand ties in key areas of trade and economy, defense and security, climate change, and people-to-people connection, among others. Negotiations over a free trade agreement, which is predicted to boost bilateral trade by up to £28 billion annually by 2035, to a review of the India-UK Roadmap 2030, and intensifying cooperation across the full spectrum of bilateral ties, were the agenda for this visit. You think this visit has achieved the trade relationship to a new level?
Yes, indeed. The free trade agreement is one of the important partial takeaways of the visit, because Prime Minister Modi said that India would do its best to ensure a free trade agreement by the end of the year. Prime Minister Boris Johnson was a little more optimistic, and he said, we will have the free trade agreement by the end of the year. The reason is that as far as the low-hanging fruit is concerned, which includes mobility, etc., that has all been worked out. There are some areas in which we would not be in a position to make major concessions, because those are areas of strength for both economies. So those important areas are being currently discussed and negotiated. But I would say that given the fact that the United Kingdom really needs India as its economic partner, I think we can safely say that by the end of the year, we should be able to have an FTA, given the fact that we were able to have an excellent FTA with Australia, which is very generous. The Australians have given us a lot, and we would naturally expect generosity on the part of the UK, and this is being worked out. So I think the FTA is a done deal by the end of the year, and the FTA demonstrates again that the UK is now willing to compromise on something it had held out for a long time, which is mobility, what we call Mode 4 of the WTO. And the agreement on mobility is a very important development, because this was a major constraint when we were negotiating the BTIA with the EU when UK was a member of the EU. So this demonstrates that indeed the UK is very keen on an FTA, and I think we should be able to wrap it up. And this heralds a new era in trade relationship, and also it would increase FTA flows from both sides, because let's not forget that India is a major investor in the British economy. Indian FDI flows into UK are enormous. We have also purchased real estate and big companies in the UK. So this is a partnership based on equality between the two. We have come a very long way from 1947. We have an economy which in a few years' time will be stronger than the British economy. And indeed, the FTA will be mutually beneficial and is a very welcome development.
Absolutely. These two economies signing an FTA will benefit both the countries. In their wide-ranging talks, both prime ministers vowed to give fresh momentum to overall ties and review progress made in the implementation of the Roadmap 2030 that listed ambitious targets for deeper collaboration in diverse sectors. But there are some issues which are still to be resolved. For example, Britain remains one of the handful countries denied the ease of e-visa travel to India, while India is on the short list of requiring visas for transit, retrospective tax issues for British companies, and discussion on Kashmir in the UK Parliament, as well as rise of Sikh separatists and pro-Khalistan protests in UK remains irritant between two countries. We have many economic offenders who have taken shelter in London. So these are the issues which Indian government would like to discuss with the British Prime Minister. You think anything of that nature happened?
Well, actually, I don't think any of these issues are discussed at the level of head of state and government. They are normally discussed at the senior official level and, if required, brought up to the level of ministers. But yes, you're absolutely right. They are major irritants. The reason why the e-visa has not been given to the UK is because they have a large number of UK citizens of Pakistani origin, Mirpuri residents also, Mirpuri origin, and these are on our blacklist for travel. So it would not be possible for us to give them e-visa in the manner in which we have given to others. We've had a pretty good relationship with the Conservatives, who are much more sensitive to India's internal security challenges, and therefore, whether it is the Mirpuri constituency, people of Pakistani origin who are trying to indulge in activities that are inimical to Indian national security, or, as you said, Khalistanis who are there, these are issues which we normally are able to handle much easier when the Conservatives are in power. As far as the criminals who are holed up in UK, who have looted our exchequer and impoverished thousands of Indian tax holders here, it is indeed unfortunate that we haven't yet been able to have them extradited. But one can understand that the United Kingdom is a country based on rule of law, and we have to go through the legal process, which is precisely what we are doing. If it seems long and laborious, that is the way it is for everyone. But I think that we are very soon reaching the end of the tunnel for both, and I think that very soon they would run out of all appeals. They have the right to have resource to these appeals, and once it's rejected, then we would be in a position to have them extradited.
One area where we saw collaboration between two countries and two leaders spoke about it is the defense cooperation. We have seen defense cooperation growing fast, most visibly when the UK carrier strike group visited India last November. A co-creation of technology and manufacturing partnership that can meet not just the needs of India but also to be exported to other countries is the right aim for this defense cooperation. And there seems to be some positive things emerging, like India and UK have established an electric propulsion capability partnership that will bring two navies closer as part of India-UK roadmap. What do you think India and UK can do together about India's indigenous combat air programs? UK Prime Minister Johnson had said that they will support India in achieving this self-sufficiency. How do you think the both countries can come together in this area?
Well, there was an important meeting with our Raksha Mantri, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced some very important takeaways. The British have agreed to transfer of military technology, which means that they would soon become a major defense supplier. This is very much in line with our own quest to diversify our military suppliers so that we are not dependent on just one or two suppliers, because you well know the kind of complications that has given rise to in the recent past. The other issue is that Prime Minister Boris Johnson has offered open export licenses, and this is of great importance to us because it will enable us to import from UK very sensitive technology that is required by our armed forces for the defense of our borders and also in the Indo-Pacific, which was discussed between the two sides and between our two prime ministers.
Thank you so much for your time, Ambassador Mukherjee.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. You're listening to the World News. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met the chief executive officers of Accenture, Deloitte, FedEx and MasterCard in Washington, D.C. They discussed a range of issues including setting up research and development centers in India, upskilling talent, training and digitization of small businesses, climate action and financial inclusion. During the meeting with the finance minister, the CEO of the multinational IT company Accenture, Julie Sweet, backed the government of India's proactive and transparent approach. Ms. Sweet further noted that the company is increasing its presence in more Tier 2 cities in India and is also focusing on upskilling talent to prepare for emerging opportunities. The Accenture boss also informed Ms. Sitharaman that 47% of their workforce in India comprises women.
The minister is very committed to helping businesses in India. It's just a sign of how much India really works to make sure that they're listening to the business community, that they're supporting the business community and helping us as we continue to invest. We are very fortunate to have a great talent of an amazing group of people, 300,000 in India, and we truly appreciate the government's focus on making India a great place to do business.
Ms. Sitaraman also met the CEO of Deloitte, Puneet Ranjan, and discussed issues like expanding Deloitte's operations to smaller cities in India like Coimbatore and Bhubaneswar. Mr. Ranjan also said that Deloitte has developed tools to improve the access of rural poor to health facilities and also committed for climate action in India. During his meeting with the finance minister, FedEx's president and CEO-elect Raj Subramanian mentioned that he has significant expansion plans, including in skilling. FedEx is also looking at R&D centers in India.
The ambitious Agartala-Ghora rail link between India and Bangladesh is set to be completed by December this year. The Union Minister of State for Railways, Rao Saheb Patil Dave, who is on a 2-day visit to Tripura, said this in Agartala on Friday. Shri Dave said that the work of connecting all capital cities of northeastern states by rail links is going at the desired pace. He said that about 60% of the projects of connecting state capitals by rail have already been completed and the rest is likely to be completed by 2023-24.
The Chief Election Commissioner, Sushil Chandra, urged members of the NRI community to register as overseas voters. He also told the NRI community that the extension of electronically transmitted postal ballot system, ETPBS facility, to overseas voters is being contemplated. A delegation led by Mr. Chandra visited South Africa and Mauritius. During this visit, a series of meetings were held with the Election Commission of South Africa and Mauritius, as well as interactions with the large NRI community in the two countries. During the interaction with the members of the Indian community, the CEC urged them to register as overseas voters, as the present numbers are abysmally low. The CEC, Mr. Chandra, expressed profound appreciation for the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of South Africa for organizing this meeting.
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur said that there is only one message from this 3-day summit, and that is Heal in India. He was addressing the valedictory session of Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit 2022 at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, Friday evening. He said that growth in the Ayush sector is tremendous and India can benefit maximum from it. He said that we should have maximum unicorn startups from the Ayush sector. Mr. Thakur said that we got the first and only WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in India by the efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and now our work is to provide the Ayush products to the world. The 3-day Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit 2022 was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday in the presence of Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravin Kumar Jagannath, and Director General of World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus.
Russia aims to seize southern Ukraine and open a route to the separatist region of Transnistria in Moldova. Major General Rustam Minekaev specified that Moscow would seek to take full control over the south in addition to the eastern Donbas region. Transnistria is a small Russian-backed region which borders Ukraine. It claimed independence after the fall of the Soviet Union in a bloody conflict, but it is not recognized internationally and officially remains a part of Moldova.
The World Bank has said that an early estimate shows physical damage to Ukraine's buildings and infrastructure from the conflict had reached roughly $60 billion. World Bank President Davis Malpass said on Thursday that the estimate does not include growing economic costs of the conflict. The amount will continue to rise as the Russian military operation goes on.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is among 5 people named on Thursday as recipients of the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award for acting to protect democracy. The John F. Kennedy Library Foundation said that he was chosen because of the way he has marshaled the spirit, patriotism, and untiring sacrifice of the Ukrainian people in a life-or-death fight for their country. The foundation said that 4 US officials were chosen for standing up for free and fair elections as the system is challenged in ways it has never been before.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan once again praised India's foreign policy over importing oil from Russia, saying that New Delhi's decision is for the betterment of its people. Speaking at a rally in Lahore on Thursday, Mr. Khan said that India, which is a strategic partner to the United States, is importing oil from Russia, saying that its decisions are based on the betterment of Indian people. But Pakistan's foreign policy is for the betterment of other people. Earlier in March too, Imran Khan has lauded the foreign policy of India and said it is independent and for the betterment of Indian people.
Amidst the ongoing political unrest in Pakistan, a Pakistani soldier was killed in the southwest province of Balochistan when terrorists launched an attack on the security forces on Friday. While the Pakistani soldier lost his life in the attack, another suffered injuries. The Inter-Services Public Relations of the military media wing said that the security forces fought back successfully in the attack, resulting in heavy losses to the terrorists.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Earth Day is being observed today. The day is celebrated worldwide to demonstrate support for environmental protection. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon people to put in concerted efforts to reverse the damage caused to the planet. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said that this year's theme, Invest in Our Planet, reminds everyone to strive harder to protect the environment so that we can pass on a greener and safer planet to future generations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Earth Day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. He reiterated his commitment to care for the planet.
In Asian Wrestling Championships in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, Indian women wrestlers Anshu Malik and Radhika won silver in 57 kg and 65 kg respectively in the freestyle categories on Friday. Besides, another grappler, Manisha, clinched bronze in the 62 kg women's freestyle category.
And now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. Finance Minister A.H.M. Mustafa Kamal says that there is no alternative to microcredit to alleviate poverty in rural areas of the country, reports Prothomalo.
Rainstorms slashed Dhaka and several parts of Bangladesh on Friday afternoon, reports Dhaka Tribune.
BBC reports that authorities in Shanghai have said that they will tighten the enforcement of lockdown measures as the COVID surge continues in China's financial capital.
CNN reports huge outcry as Shanghai sends vulnerable senior citizens into makeshift quarantine camps.
The Express Tribune writes that Pakistan's new government passes orders to scrap China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Authority.
Tibet.net reports that a group of 6 UN experts have expressed concerns and brought China into account for arrest, detention and enforced disappearance of Tibetans.
And before we end, a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson review comprehensive strategic partnership during bilateral talks in New Delhi. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cybersecurity and space figure in discussion. India and the United Kingdom decide to push for conclusion of free trade agreement by the end of this year. Agartala-Akhora rail link between India and Bangladesh set to be completed by December this year. Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra urges members of the NRI community to register as overseas voters. World Earth Day being observed today. Prime Minister says the day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. And in the Asian Wrestling Championships, Indian women grapplers Anshu Malik and Radhika secure silver while Manisha settles for bronze.
And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from United Kingdom.
with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.